President Cyril Ramaphosa delivered his 2023 State of the Nation address. And once again, it was a disgrace for the country of South Africa. We're all over the news for the wrong reasons. We're all over the news because parliamentarians are behaving like it's a schoolyard. And the country looks poor. We got the EFF and the ATM, whoever they may be. It's Jacob Zuma's party, basically started as a proxy for Jacob Zuma, once again disrupting procedures. They are treating this kind of thing as if it's a soap opera on TV or a reality show where they're going to get prizes for being the most disruptive. This is going to give them some kind of revolutionary credentials they're so desperate for. They want the visuals of their members getting attacked by people in uniform. They want bruises to show the journalists. While this happens, the problems of South Africa do not get solved at all. Then you've got the DA behaving like it's a courtroom drama, sitting there looking for reasons to go to court. Often they're legitimate, but sometimes it just starts sounding whiny. And the ANC, what do? Well, they behave like they are royalty, like it's a king delivering an address and everybody else is their mere subjects. And they will do whatever they do, and afterwards they will clap for the king, even if he's come out with the most ludicrous ideas. We got three main parties talking totally different languages. How did we get here? Thanks to President Thabo Mbeki back in the day, all reasonable debate in Parliament was stopped. The President suddenly only appeared in Parliament every quarter to answer preset questions, which he had enough time to prepare for and to give curt answers to. A lot of, I'll get back to you on this, a lot of yes-no answers, as opposed to any kind of debate on political issues. We don't really have a democracy where leaders are putting different points of view across, getting their case across. So we are now relegated to theatre, where the EFF think they're going to grow their support by disruption. The DA seem to think that their only recourse is legal action, and the ANC don't listen to anybody but themselves. But looking at the actual address itself, I think Cyril Ramaphosa needs to take a leaf out of the book of Winston Churchill. I know this particular quote has been ascribed to many people, but Winston Churchill, in writing a letter to his wife in the Second World War, he said, "I'm sorry that this letter is so long. If I had had more time, it would have been shorter." Cyril Ramaphosa is doing a presidential version of the Stalingrad defense tactic. Every speech he does literally bores us to death, to the point, bores us into submission. 21-page speech. It's ridiculous. You can't even analyze it. It's ridiculous. What he does is, like everything, when expected to act in a week, he takes 2 months. When expected to deliver a speech, he delivers a sermon. When he has to write a report, he writes a book. So that we all get so wrapped up in this ongoing narrative that he creates that we're just trying to stay awake through. So what did he come out with? The biggest thing by far, a lot of it is a rehash of previous stuff we've heard, social compacts and nonsense like that. Listen, the breaking of the social compact is quite simple. The biggest breaking of the social compact is that the party entrusted to lead South Africa for the improvement of South Africans refuses to do it. The ANC refuses to govern ethically, properly, or for the improvement of South Africans. Now, we don't have rail because the Minister of Transport didn't do his job. We've got a crime problem because the Minister of Police didn't do his job. And most ruinously, we've got an Eskom problem because the ANC looted the money. We don't need a social compact. We need a ruling party that does what they said they were going to do, which is rule the country in the best interest of its citizens. But they won't do that. So what do? They have got a massive problem on their hands. Everybody's up in arms about load shedding, as we should be. Who hands the ANC a lifeline? None other but the DA. Why? Because John Steenhuisen goes on media. I presume the intention was to make the ANC look even more bad, or to understand that they've caused the problem in the first place, saying that we should declare a state of disaster for electricity. Cyril Ramaphosa, being a canny politician and lawyer, declares the state of disaster. What do we have now? In this particular realm, we're going to have electricity run by yet another minister inside our King's cabinet, and overseen by who? None other than Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, who, as the Minister of Corporate Governance, is in charge in the time of state of disaster. So in essence, we're going to go back to where we were with COVID. What happened in COVID? We had a state of disaster. We ceded all control, all transparency to our Minister of Corporate Governance, and Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma did not fail to do what she always does. She didn't do the thing right. Massive looting, no repercussions. Why do we think anything is going to be different at Eskom? We know what the problem is at Eskom. The problem is at Eskom is that corruption is deeply rooted, and everybody in the chain of supplying electricity, including Eskom supporters, Eskom workers, including contracted companies, including politicians, are incentivized to loot Eskom. They're incentivized to break the place because they then get the contract to fix the place. If you or I knew that if we just put a piece of metal or a rock inside this particular machine, it's going to break, and you're going to get a multi-million rand contract to fix what you've just broken, we do it every day. We might feel a little bit bad the first time or the second time, but by the third or the fourth time, this becomes part of your business model. So please, let's understand that this state of disaster is not going to do anything that shouldn't be done anyway, right? We now have the confusion that whoever heads up Eskom is going to be reporting to 3 bosses. In fact, 4 if you include the president. There's this new Minister of Electricity in the presidency who's going to be dealing with the state of disaster. He's answerable to the president, so immediately if you're CEO of Eskom, you're reporting to those 2 people. But Eskom still belongs to to Pravin Gordhan and his Ministry of Public Enterprises, but yet we're going to retain a Ministry of Mining and Energy. 4 people in charge of you. That is not going to end well. And I tell you, South Africans, stick around. For the first couple of months, it's going to seem like it's working, and then the stories are going to come out. And if we don't sit with the same load shedding in a year from now, I'd be very, very surprised. The State of the Nation was not impressive. It was long-winded. It said nothing new other than another avenue to loot. We need a new government desperately.